It's time to open our eyes to a bright and promising future. We'll rise to the call of the times and create a stronger tomorrow. Let's start to make a difference, teaching everyone to learn through science, health, and technology. We will share our expertise by promoting knowledge and policies. We can build a better world. Let us take a step for our visions alone, bringing future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and dream. Hear us sing building the future is our legacy. We'll achieve our goals through partnership, creating opportunities. By working hand in hand, we can accomplish all our dreams. For a better quality of life is now within our reach. Let us take a step for our visions alone, bringing future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and dream. Hear us sing, building the future is our legacy. Let us take a step for our visions alone, making future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and dream. Hear us sing, building the future is our legacy. Building the future is our legacy.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable speakers, partners, participants, and committee of this online event, good day, everyone. Welcome to Simolec International Webinar on everything you need to know about lessons with digital comic. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Dona Oktanari, and you can call me Dona. And I'll be responsible for hosting this webinar for today. As we all know, emergency remote learning has been going on for almost 2 years. Various challenges are faced by all educators in the world. One of the challenges is how to improve student learning engagement so that learning can achieve its goals. And Simolec, as the regional center for open and distance learning, finds it is important for educators to be equipped with appropriate knowledge of technology and pedagogy, which can support the implementation of online learning activities during the pandemic. Simolec and its partner collaborate in conducting research on a learning model, improving students' engagement in special conditions. And the research result was then implemented in 6-week online course called Digital Comic for Engaging Online Learning. And the program was held on 25 June till 8 August 2021, and followed by 55 educators from Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand as participants. Responding to the success of the online courses and to share the experience, Siamolek invited several outstanding participants of the course in an international webinar entitled Everything You Need to Know About Lessons with Digital Comic. This international webinar serves as a forum for education practitioners to gather around, discuss, and review about the stages of creating fun and engaging learning materials by using digital comic. And yesterday, we already heard the experience from the speakers about the implementation learning with digital comic in higher education. And today, we will have representative from K-12 teachers. We will have 4 speakers who will share on how participants indulge in various online activities, self-exploration, and peer discussion during the course. In sequence for presentation, they are Ibu Michelle from SD Citra Berkat Jakarta, Ibu Winda Medianti from SMPN 3 Tamiang Layang, Sentral Kalimantan, Ibu Susanti Retno Hardini from SMAN 1 Bandung, West Java, and Pak Agus Sasongkro from SMKN 27 Jakarta. And each of speakers will have 15 minutes to deliver their presentation materials, and we will have question and answer sessions at the end of all speaker presentation. And now, if I may take your time shortly before we begin the speaker sessions, we will take a group photo session in the webinar room. And please kindly turn on your video camera so we can get a good screenshot of this event. Okay, everybody, please turn on the camera, please. And I will count into 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And for this today's session will be led by Dr. Gumawang Jati from Indonesia Technology Enhanced Language Learning as the moderator for today. And he will also deliver his presentation on course overview. And Dr. Gumawang Jati, how are you today? Okay, and I will give the floor to you. Please, Pak Gumawang Jati.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Dona, or Pak Dona. Good afternoon to all of you, to everyone in this webinar. Welcome to the international webinar on everything you need to know about lesson with digital comics, conducted by Simeo Siamolek. This is the second day of July of the 2 days webinar series at the same topic. Yesterday we heard speakers from higher education, and today we're going to have 4 speakers from K-12. Yeah. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with my fellow teachers. We have Michelle, we have Winda, we have Susan, and also Pak Agus Sasongko that will share with us their stories, their experiences, their challenges in conducting lesson with digital comics. Yeah. Let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Jati, call me Gumawang Jati. I will be the moderator for today. At the moment, I'm a teacher, an English teacher at ITB or ITB. I'm also president of ITEL, Indonesia Technology Enhanced Language Learning. At the beginning of this year, to tell you a story, actually, I received a challenge. The challenge comes from Vinita Devi, or Dr. Vinita Devi from UP, then told me that she received a grant from Siamolek to develop engaging TPD, Teacher Professional Development online course, and accessible in a low bandwidth context. That's a challenge. With a high bandwidth context, there are many models of that, but the challenge of low bandwidth context, that's quite challenging. Then after a lot of coffee, a lot of discussion, a lot of email and chat here and there, then we decided to have or to design a 5 weeks online course. And we decided the topic, digital comic for engaging online learning. But before we listen to the stories from the participants, I would like to tell you a very brief about the background, little bit story of how we developed that and what's the challenges and what is it, so that you get a brief summary of what is digital comics actually. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, digital comics for engaging online learning. That's the title of the program. Then, digital comics. When everyone hear the word comics, then, oh yeah, something not serious, something relaxed. Maybe it's only for elementary, junior high school students. But yesterday, we heard a lot of stories from even higher education, not only for teaching English, but you will hear later from Michelle how to teach mathematics using digital comics. Yeah, so we will hear a lot of stories. To start, I'm starting with the end of the party. This is the celebration that we had after the course finished, and then we had a party, digital party with a comic, of course. Yeah, everyone happy with that after struggling for 5 weeks following the course. Yeah, so the online course actually has 2 major aims. The first one is a challenging to facilitate participant designing engaging. So we give a lot of material to facilitate the teachers in designing the online learning environment with the student. And then we also support the participants how to use the technology for creating the engaging learning. So in 5 weeks, these teachers working very hard, looking at 2 things. One is about the technology. One is about the design, how to engage the student. So there are 2 things. So later we will hear some stories around that experience in joining the course. Yeah. So we concentrate on the interaction in online learning. We concentrate on the 3 types of interaction. One is students interact with material, students interact with teachers, and student with students interaction. Students with materials, very common and very easy. And when we design with low bandwidth context, there are a lot of tools. Student and teacher, that's quite challenging. In our course, students and teacher interaction is with a recorded. So in this course, in the 5-week course, we only have 1 Zoom meeting. Yeah, and the others are recorded version. And also we are using a lot of Telegram group to have informal chat to accompany the participants. Yeah. Student and students interaction, we have a lot of tools later on, some tools to do that, again, in the context of low bandwidth context. Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about the interaction on with the teacher, student teacher, we use Zoom only 1 this one. Out of many recordings that the students should, the participants should follow. So we use a lot of YouTube on that. For instruction, for explanation, for giving comment, and so on. And we use a Fokru. If you're familiar with Fokru is very friendly with the low bandwidth contacts. So you go to fokru.com and then you have experience. It's very easy to create as well. Yeah. And we use a lot of Telegram communication. We have a Telegram group for troubleshooting, for things that's not clear, and a lot of social interaction. If somebody having a birthday, then we go give virtual cakes over the Telegram, things like that. Yeah. So that's the interaction with the students and teacher interaction in a low bandwidth context. So we try to minimize the high bandwidth context using Zoom or other similar platform. The second one is interaction with the materials. Again, we use a lot of PDF and also learning apps materials that we use. It's very friendly with low bandwidth, and we use Kahoot as well on that. Yeah. So the students should interact with the materials in the form of exercises, PDF format to read, and some exercise that they have to do and experience using learningapps.org. The participants at the beginning, they become a students first. So they have the experience how to interact with the materials, how to interact with their friend. So we treat them as students. Then the second part of the course, then we treat them as a teacher, accompany them so that they design, they plan their comics. Yeah. This is the challenging one, interaction online and student interaction. We use a lot of Telegram. We use Answer Garden. So you can go to answergarden.ch for discussion, brainstorming. It's a very friendly for low bandwidth contacts. And we use a lot of three-sider to do a discussion for asynchronous discussion about issues, pro and cons, and so on. Yeah. Again, we are working with low bandwidth contacts. Yeah. What I found very interesting was the Telegram. In the Telegram group, the way we interact or the way the students interact, not necessarily about the course. It's about personal things. Or I got problem. It's not about how should we do this and so on. But problem like, I got a problem with my tablet. I cannot turn it on. What should I do? And things like that. Yeah, so it's around the course, but it's not always about the course itself. Yeah. And we use that a lot to trigger the participants as well. Hi, how are you, Susan? Then the answer will be, I'm very good. Sorry, Pak, I haven't submitted. I did not ask any work whatsoever, but we use a Telegram in such a way so that we can communicate. Yeah. This is the power of Telegram and in an informal setting and accompanying us during the 5-week course. Yeah. So this is the comic, the old-fashioned comic long ago, but this is not the comic that we designed. And I'm going to show you some demo later on. It's this kind of comic. Yeah. So this is the kind of comic that the participants use as a student. They look at the model, they experience doing all of the exercise before they designing their own comics appropriate for their own context. Yeah. For example, this one, it's about extreme sport. So when I click here, then Yeah. So the introduction, the presence of the lecture, of the presence of the teacher is not necessarily using Zoom. So it's recorded using Fokker, very low bandwidth, very light. Then it's accessible for people or students who live in the low bandwidth area. Yeah. So this is the type of comic. Started with the introduction, like when you did this teaching about extreme sport, what it is, and so on. And then they can continue to the next one. If I click here, yeah. So again, this is another way using Fokker and using pictures. That the teacher explain, the teacher talking, communicating with the students. Yeah. And so let's continue. I'm not going to finish everything, but if you click here, then it's taken to an answer garden. Write 3 words which are relevant to the pictures. Yeah, so this is the student work. Dangerous, fun, adrenaline, favorite, and so on and so on. So this is an example of a low bandwidth combined with the comics, and then the teacher to brainstorming. Yeah. Then let's move into another one. Listen and click. Wanna try? Not going to do that. But here, other than pictures, other than link to answer garden, they can also watch video inside the comic. So the comic is not comic, traditional comic, but comic that you can listen to your teacher, that the students can click the button and then they do exercise, then followed by another instruction, and then the students can also watch a video inside the comic. Yeah, so what's the video? This is about the extreme sport. Then after the student watching this one, then they can, okay. So after watching this short video, that the students can click here, click this for exercise 1. Then we'll go to learning apps type of exercise, starting with categorizing true and false. For example, if I click that, okay, that's wrong. If I click that, then check, oh, that's correct, and so on. Yeah. So it's lead to another page, another link from the comics. Yeah. Again, so it's a low bandwidth using Fokker, interaction with the material, interaction with the teacher, interaction with the exercise, and so on. It's inside the comic. Yeah. So let's move on. The next one here, if I click, that will go to a link 3-sider. This is pro and con discussion. This is where the students interact with this picture here, then the students interact with each other. They talking about pro and cons about extreme sport. What do you think about this extreme sport? Would you like to try? Why or why not? So they have a discussion here. Then they have a voting. Again, this is a virtual discussion, not using voice, yeah, but using text. Then the students and students, the presence, they can feel it there. Yeah, that's the type of interaction that is challenging in the context of online. Yeah. But with this one, then they feel that, oh yeah, my students saying amazing, exciting. I want to say something else. They said no, and that's discussion pro and cons, discussion giving reason, and so on. Yeah. Again, inside the comic, in the context of low bandwidth. Yeah. So that's the type of comic that we are talking about. Again, we are stressing on the interaction, the students and teacher interaction, students with the materials, student with students interaction in the process of learning about a certain topic. In this case, we talk about extreme sport. Yeah. And then we get to a reflection at the end. Yeah. So it's a complete set of lesson. Start from brainstorming and interaction and so on in a comic version. Yeah. Later, we will hear from the participants, how they feel, what they try, and so on and so on. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. So the course itself is 5 weeks. So it's 90% asynchronous and only 10% synchronous, like I told you earlier. The first week, it's an introduction about the comic and basic theory of engagement and interaction in online learning. Why we do that, how should we do it, and so on. So that's in the form of lecture in a recorded version and also text that they have the participants to read. After understanding this one, the introduction and the basic theory, then the participants experience learning with the digital comic. Yeah, so they experience here, and if I'm not mistaken, everyone was really happy. E-commerce students engaging and happy, and a lot of celebration in the Telegram group. Yeah. Then the third week, exploring the technology. It's also fun. We introduce the technology. We introduce learning apps. We introduce we introduce the technology that we use in designing the comic. Yeah. And again, everybody happy there. The hardest part is week 4, when week 1, week 2, week 3, the participants acting as students, more or less. Week 4, they act as a teacher. They have to plan the digital comic. They have to create activities as a teacher. That's the challenging part here. And some participants have like problem, the motivation going down and so on. But again, surprisingly, the Telegram group is very good in supporting each other. So they know each other very well. Because of this 3 weeks become students, they get to know each other and support each other here. And in planning as well, they help each other there, yeah, in creating the activities and putting the comics together, discussing things. This button doesn't work, what should I do? How to create a very good Bitmoji, and so on and so on, yeah. Then week 4, that's creating the online activities and finalizing the digital comic. Yeah, so that's the end. Okay, let's have a look at the celebration. Everyone is happy, and we're going to hear the story, of course, from after they implement the digital comic in different settings. Yeah. This is the badge that everyone very happy to receive at the end. They call digital squad, yeah, from Siamolek. And maybe you come and see this in a Facebook or in Instagram, that the participants very proudly present this one, become the digital comic squad, because they have worked very hard in a 4 weeks course, start being students, experiencing as students, and then experiencing in 2 weeks to design a course as a teacher. Yeah. Okay. Today I'm going to introduce you Michelle. That's the first speaker later from Citra Berkat, Jakarta. It's an elementary school. Then we are going to have Winda. That's from Tamiang Layang, SMP N3, Kalimantan Tengah. Then we travel back to Bandung, to Susanti, that's SMA N1 Bandung. And then Pak Angkus Sasongko, that's the SMK N27, Jakarta. So we're going to hear a complete story from SD, then from SMP, and then from SMA, and then from SMK, and how the students react and how the teachers react when implementing the digital comics in the context. Yeah. Okay. I hope this short introduction will give you overview what is the digital comics course. Then we will listen to our lovely speakers today. If you need a tutorial to create a digital comic, we provide you a link later on. You can access this slide, and then there is a link that you can watch, and then you can try and create one. Yeah. Okay. This is the link. Maybe you can take a picture of that, then get access to my slide later. Yeah, this webinar. Okay, that's all from me. Now let me introduce the speaker. I'll start with Michelle. Julie is going to be the first one. Michelle, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit. Don't worry, be happy. Just like the comics. Yeah. What do you teach actually, Michelle?
I teach maths in 4th grade at Citra Berkat School.
Oh, so you are teaching math. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell us how the students react during the math when they learn mathematics? That usually with numbers and with all formulas, and then you're teaching math, but with comics. Can you tell that in a brief?
My students enjoy the math lesson given by me. They say, Miss, I can understand about equivalent fraction. Math is very fun. And then they say, Miss, would you create another digital comic? I answer it, yes, sure. For next semester,
so
new material.
Oh, okay, so you're going to create another materials with a digital comic. Okay, without further ado, Michelle, microphone and the floor is yours. Can you share with us? You got around 15 minutes to do so. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Pak Gumawang, Miss Vinita, and saya Molek. Now I'm here, I would like to share my experience of joining the digital comic for engaging online learning online course. As a math teacher, there's always one question, how do I make my student love math? Some students always say, why is math so hard and boring? I hope by joining this course, my student will love math and keep math fun with an interactive digital comic. How many weeks do online course run? 5 weeks. I can manage my time depending on me when joining the course. And then what I've learned from digital comic course, I learned new ideas about technology tools. I love Bitmoji, Vocaro, Answer Garden, and learning apps. First step to designing digital comic, we need to think of the topic and the objective of our lesson. What topic do you want to teach using digital comic? What do you want your student to be able to do after finishing the lesson with digital comic? Don't forget, we also need to think of the list of activities that will support the student in reaching the objective of lesson. Okay. This is my list of activities. You can see on my screen. Start from topic, objective, and the first column filled with activities. The second column, interaction, and the last, tools, technology tools that we will use to support activities. If you have created your list of activities, it will be easier to create your storyboard. This is my storyboard. Start from introduction until closing. In this course, I get new insight to design online learning. We must remember 3 types of interaction. Interaction with the learning materials, and then interaction with friends, and the last, interaction with the teachers. Okay. One thing you need to know for this course, there's a unique way to give appreciation or reward to the participant who has finished some activities. Not only students, but also we as a teacher need a reward or appreciation, right? As a teacher, I'm so excited when I've got some badges. You can also you can see at my screen. There are 8 badges I've got after I complete the course. And then let me show you my first digital comic. I put the link published to the web in Google Classroom. And then start from opening. Students tell their opinion about what is the equivalent fraction. They can type their answer, opinion at Answer Garden. Okay, this one. What do you know about equivalent fraction? And then step 2, method problem. Cartoon picture is given to the student. They can type their answer and comment on others. They can express their agreement and disagreement. Step 3, watch the video equivalent fraction from YouTube. Step 4, after watching the video, students do 2 exercises using learning apps. This is activity 1, match pictures of equivalent fraction. I'm using learning apps. And then this is exercise 2. Equivalent fraction sorting. I'm also using learning apps. Okay, the step 6. Student meet asynchronous at Google Meet using Google Jamboard. Discuss more deeply about equivalent fraction. After that, fill feedback from what do you learn from today. Let's share your experience. How was your feeling? And then what is the most important lesson I've learned today that I can use in my daily activities? And the last is closing from teachers. New insight from designing digital comic. In math, I can use one-off approach learning. In this digital comic, I use one-off approach learning is CPA, concrete, pictorial, and abstract. And next, here's some student testimonial for digital comic. from my student, Atalia, I feel happy because I can study with Miss Michelle and friends. I can understand about math. I can learn about math, and math is very fun. And from Catherine, equivalent fraction is interesting for me. I can understand equivalent fraction. I feel happy. From Pascalia, yes, I think interesting, Miss. A digital comic helps me easier to understand about equivalent fraction. From Richie, it was interesting. I'm interested with the method. Okay. And from Aprilia, I'm happy with the lesson given by Miss. The lesson are easy to understand. And from Banyu, the last, yes, happy and easily matching fraction. And then what next step after first implementation digital comic? I challenged myself to create a digital comic with other materials in mathematics like area, perimeter, angles, and extra. I think that's all for me. Thank you for a great attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. Great. So everyone, we heard a very good story about how to teach math using digital comics. From Michelle's presentation, we can see that reward is also very important. So when you're working with comics, you're working with online, still you have to give reward and presents in terms of, again, virtual and also, of course, digital rewards. Thank you, Michelle, for the very nice presentation. And also we learned that self-paced learning it's there. It's 5 weeks. We designed 5-week course, and it's self-paced, asynchronous, so you can learn in a good time. Maybe if you're a morning person, you do your work in the morning. If you're a late night person like me, you wait until everybody sleep, then you start working. Yeah, so it's self-paced. And also, Michelle shows us that before designing the comic, you should have a very clear objective. Yeah, not thinking about the comics first or the Bitmoji first, but again, the objective. When the objective is clear, then you can create the storyboard and then the comics. Yeah, thank you very much, Michelle. Hopefully, you will create a lot of comics with mathematics. If you have a selection of comics, you can publish it in your Facebook or in your social media to get input. Then you can compile your own comics. I think your school will be very proud of you if you can share that with other teachers. Yeah, math teachers in SMP, for example, or SMA. Yeah, then you can collaborate with them and then produce something bigger. Yeah, thank you very much, Michelle. And if you have any questions, later on, you can type in a link. I think in the YouTube, there is a link to ask question. You can ask question to Michelle later, or you can direct the questions to me. Then the next one, we're going to have Winda from Kalimantan. Hopefully the electricity is working fine there. Winda is in a very remote area that sometimes the electricity will get off and on and off again and on again. Hopefully this time the internet connection and also friendly. Yeah. So Winda is from SMPN 3 Tamiang Payang, Kalimantan Tengah. I've been to her school long ago when I was young. Hi, Winda.
Hi. Hello, Pak Jati. Can you hear me?
Very good sound. So very stable network, no need to worry with that. What subjects do you teach actually?
I teach English subject in junior high school.
So you are an English teacher?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So what are you going to present today?
Well, today I hope I can share my previous experience joining Digital Comic and also the implementation here in my workplace. And I also hope that the audience of today's webinar can get take away with them from this webinar.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good point, Winda. Okay, everyone. I think better to give the floor and microphone to Winda. Winda, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. So before I jump to my presentation, I would like to say hello to everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today, and thanks to Simolec Committee for organizing this event. Also thanks to Dr. Gumawang and Dr. Finita. So welcome everyone. Today we will explore together and broaden our knowledge on how conventional and digital comic differ from one another. And if you joined yesterday's session with Dr. Finita and her three awesome speakers, you probably noticed and heard about the significant differences between these two comics. And here is my presentation. So the first comic that I display here is a comic created in Pixton. So there is an application called Pixton where you can design a comic. However, this only relies on a combination of a series of pictures and text. As Pak Jati and Bu Finita mentioned, it is a conventional comic or old-fashioned or traditional comic. And compared to digital comic, you can see the one here. This is a combination of not only series of pictures and text, but also unlimited learning resources. By saying unlimited, I mean, you can embed link to Vocaroo, to Answer Garden, to YouTube, to Telegram group, to Kahoot, like the one I have here, and then to YouTube again, and then Vocaroo, and then Google Classroom. Next on my presentation, why digital comic? So thanks to Miss Finita, I took this lovely presentation from her. Most people love comics. Why? Because it is visually engaging, it is interactive, it is student-paced, it is flexible, and you can add yourself. It offers fun and new experience, learning experience. The students can explore themselves. It is interesting. And as I mentioned earlier, it is unlimited learning resources. So I'm going to take you to my journey in creating a digital comic. This is my first digital comic. So what I learned from yesterday's session is you don't have to be a techie. You don't have to be a techno savvy to be able to create a digital comic. Here I try myself and voila, this is it. It's just a simple digital comic. And next slide would be, these are the activities that we had months ago with Digital Comic Squads. And if you are Digicom Squad and you are joining us on YouTube right now, you can say hello on the live chat at the moment, because I'm so excited to meet all the Digicom Squads today, where we can learn together from each other. I can say that the Digicom Squads are a group of creative people, I must say, because when I joined the club, I saw many interesting comics ever created. So big applause to Digicom Squad. And next slide would be the classroom situation where I utilized the digital comic before having back to face-to-face or regular classroom. So in my context, Digicom is applicable in many contexts of classroom. So here the students studied using a digital comic that I displayed on the wall. And when we move to a basic classroom where we don't have like LCD or projector to display the digital comic, I use my mobile phone and to show the students the digital comic. Also, important lesson that I learned from yesterday's session is that when you want to integrate a technology in your classroom, you have to be there. Your presence is also significant because technology alone cannot replace you as a teacher. And this is Abby and Alfredo. I'm so proud of them. And they are playing Kahoot here. They tried Kahoot from the digital comic. And I think I have one video here. But because I use PowerPoint, I cannot play this, but don't worry. And this is the digital comic that I created and designed for Guru Penggerak. And I can say that I must be proud of myself, and thanks to Simolek and Pak Gumawang and Bu Finita for the knowledge that they shared, because I must say that I'm the only participant in that training who produced a comic as a product in this training. And here are the students' interactive responses. Habib said, I'm very happy, Miss. And then Hafiz said, Miss, I'm having fun for learning today. The topic is about traditional market. And thanks to Michelle also, because Michelle has explained about the stages in designing comic, like list of activities and the preparation, and then determining the learning objective or the learning outcomes that you want to achieve. And I think we almost come to the end of my presentation. But I have my Canva, also I have my Canva presentation. If I still have time, Pak Jati, can I slideshow?
Oh yes, yes, please do.
Okay, wait a moment. Okay, I think it takes time to display it. Okay, if you want to get my presentation today, I will share to you. I think I can give you my email address so you can have my presentation today. I think that's all, Pak Jati, because it's freezing here. So yeah. I'm giving back the floor to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. No worries, Linda. Okay, thank you very much. Linda's presentation is very interesting. We can learn from her that visual is very important. That's one of the strengths of comic. It's in form of visuals. We heard from Michelle, even it's mathematics that we are thinking of numbers and formula, then you add on with a visual that's become engaging for the students. Yeah. Another interesting thing is that digital comic is applicable for face-to-face learning. After the pandemic finished, later on, everyone go back to schools, the same school, but not the same education. Yeah, you will come back to your old schools, the same chair, the same whiteboard, but with a different type of education. Things will change. Things will never come back just like the old times before the COVID. The digital will insert here and there in the system of education, both in the academic and also in the administrative sectors later on. That's my prediction, but for sure, that will not the same. So, face-to-face comics, you can use that inside the classroom later on. Thank you, Winda. And also, it's a good example from Winda in a low bandwidth area. So, mobile phone, it's become good. If you have a big screen, put it in a big screen. So, not necessarily everyone playing with their own comics. Yeah, you can use that for classroom. Thank you, Winda. And we're looking forward to hear from SMA. So we had ST and SMP, and now we're moving up to SMA. Hi, Ibu Susan, how are you?
Thank you, Pak. I'm fine.
Are you at home or at school?
At home now.
Oh, at home now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I heard that sometimes you go to school. It's
Yeah.
already open. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
it's already
my
open.
campus is still closed. Okay. Everyone, this is Ibu Susanti from SMA Negeri 1 Bandung. When you joined the digital comic class, Ibu, did you find any challenging situations to follow in the course, the 5-week course?
Okay. Thank you for the question, Pak Jati. To me, I think the online course itself is challenging.
Why?
Yeah, so I don't think I found the challenging one. Yeah, during the course, the instructions during the online course have helped me learn the digital comic step by step. So I think it was great. Yeah.
So there is no really significant challenge there.
Not really. Yeah.
And I also know that you are very techy teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah, because a friend of mine, actually, the daughter is one of your students. And she told her mother, and her mother told me all of the activities related to digital. So what are you going to share with us today, Bu?
Okay, today I will share my experience in making and implementing online digital comic in my classroom, Pak.
Okay, thank you very much. Without further delay, the floor is yours, Ibu.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, I think everyone can see the screen now, yeah?
Still waiting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can see your very good picture.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. A very good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Jati, Dr. Vinita Dewi, and Syamolek for giving me a chance, to be one of the speaker in this webinar. Okay, I will begin my presentation by sharing my experience in joining the course, the online course, and then how I prepared the digital comic lesson. And then I will share the challenges in developing the comic digital lesson. Next, I will share my students' response, and I will end the presentation by sharing my experience in implementing the digital comic. Okay, let's see the first one about my experience in joining the course. Yeah, let me begin with my experience. It was in the previous semester, when my students still learn online. At the time, some students said in their reflections that they were tired of typing messages, while they were learning online. For your information, I teach online using WhatsApp, which is a very low bandwidth platform. And then the WhatsApp is integrated with other apps for interactions, So it came up in my mind, how if I could still teach online and the students could access, the material in a click away. Then there is a kind of online training, a digital comic, So I joined the digital comic online course, And then next, the digital comic online course is challenging, First, I'm not good at drawing, And how can I design a lesson which is not only meaningful and also engaging, So the course provides more asynchronous learning, as we know that the course was conducted online and provides group discussion in Telegram. So I thought I would succeed in following the course, as I was also busy dealing with other jobs. I just thought about how to motivate myself in joining the online course. Okay, during the online course, I felt helpful, by the steps given as they are scaffolded. Yeah, I learned the course step by step from the easiest activity to the most challenging one. Yeah, and then so the experience in joining the course, yeah, has helped me a lot, yeah, in designing my own lesson in terms of interaction. The point is, the course itself is the real example of digital comic lessons. So now, how to prepare for digital comic lesson? Yeah, first I need to know some digital apps, yeah, which are important tools to create digital comics. I already know about Bitmoji and learning apps, and I've been using that. Or for the other apps, such as Tricider, Answer Garden, and then learning, and then Fokeru, yeah, I learned them all during the online course, yeah. So I did not worry about it, as Dr. Vinita has prepared some tutorials about it, yeah. And then next, to begin with the digital comic lesson, yeah, first thing first, I think this one is really testing my pedagogy as a teacher, yeah, because I need to decide the topic and learning objective, yeah. As you can see, the topic is about application letter, yeah. It is my first topic of this semester. I believe that it is not a kind of interesting topic to learn, yeah, as the apps about on how to create the letter itself are there in the internet. So I think about how to make this topic more engaging and fun. Yeah. So my learning objective is to relate the topic to my students' life goal. Yeah. So I started designing the activities. Yeah. And then interaction and the tools. And then the next one is after finishing the activities, interaction, and the tools, I designed the storyboard. This is my storyboard, yeah, by inserting the activities, tools, and their functions in my storyboard. Yeah, the next one is creating online activity. This step is the challenging one because I need to find and select appropriate online materials, yeah, which fit with the topic, and also make recording transcription. The last step is putting the online activities on a template. Yeah, this step is easier as I have followed the steps of making digital comic lesson. Yeah. So what is the challenge then? Yeah, of designing an online digital comic. Yeah, just like what I said, in following the course, I did not find any challenge situation, but when I create the online activity, yeah, it is about my knowledge about the pedagogy itself, yeah. So I need to find and to select the online materials related to the topic, and then make exercises, questions, and then I also need to consider some vocabularies, yeah, which are appropriate for my students, yeah, especially when I use the authentic materials. Okay, here's the students' response, yeah, in digital comic lesson, yeah. Toward the lesson, the students put some reflections. It is done in WhatsApp group, yeah. So just like what you see, I was overwhelmed, yeah, by their thank you messages, yeah. The response were really good. So because this kind of reflection, so I selected some responses, yeah, which can represent their responses. And then we can see here, a student said that today's lesson was fun and I enjoyed this lesson. And then today's lesson was interesting and relevant, yeah. And then today's lesson was very fun. Most of them said it is fun and interesting, yeah. So from the students' response, I can conclude that the digital comic is easy, yeah, interesting, fun, interactive, relevant, and then attractive and creative, yeah. And then from the lesson activities, students learn to share opinions, yeah, interact with their friends, material and teacher, and they appreciate values, express opinions, know the opinions of other students of different classes. As for your information, I teach 11 classes, so they can see their friends' opinion from other classes. And then they also practice their vocabularies. Yeah. So from the content of the lesson, the students realize that they need to work hard to achieve their dream, to reflect on what they do in the future, and to have a clearer picture of their future. So if I can sum up again, the students use the digital comic and learn from the digital comic. It is not only for fun, interesting, and then attractive, or not only meaningful, yeah, but they also learn about the values of the learning itself, yeah, what they get from the material, from the subject or from the topic, yeah. And then this one is, we arrive to the last slide, yeah, of my explanation. First, I feel helpful, yeah, as the online digital comic is a lesson which can be accessed, yeah, in one click away. Even my students feel the same way, yeah. And then I also feel overjoyed, yeah, as my students feel happy when they learn the digital comic. At the same time, I feel challenged, yeah. As a teacher, I always need to improve my skills related to technology. And then the next one is the important one, yeah. I feel empowered, yeah. As you know, we dealt with pandemic, and I'm grateful that I can help other teachers to empower themselves, yeah. For your information, I had a lesson study about my best practice at my school, and a teacher followed my step, making the online digital comic in her class, and she felt that her lesson is more meaningful and interactive, yeah. And from all the explanation, this online digital comic lesson has made me a well-informed teacher. Okay, thank you for listening to my presentation. Hope you find this fruitful.
Thank you very much, Ibu Susanti. Very good story, very good response. We learned a lot from Ibu Susanti's presentation today about the importance of pedagogy and also the importance of fun and joy, but still there is a lot of values from the learning itself. Yeah, thank you, Ibu, for the explanation. I'm just wondering, how long did you prepare a lesson using comics? How many days, how many hours, how long, how painful, or is it fun?
Okay. I don't think about the painful one. I think about the joy that I will receive after the comic finish, yeah, especially for my students. So I think for one lesson or one topic, I said it's about a week, because I need to extra time to select and find the online materials. Maybe it's a week for one topic. It takes a long time.
Yeah, takes a longer time, but I agree. But the reward is there, and you can create a similar comics, and it's going to be quicker, I think, for next semester. Then you will have a collection of that. I will give you a challenge, Ibu, actually. You do not need to answer it now, but maybe it's a good, because you're teaching in SMA, maybe it's a good to give a project to the students and to ask them to create a comic, not for learning, not for material for learning, but comics for promoting something, comic for, instead of poster, then they have to create a comic, like promoting cleanliness in the classroom or promoting something. If you create that, maybe they will have somehow, that's what my imagination, maybe they might have a better comics output, probably we can learn a lot from the students. That's what I usually do. I challenge my students, challenge the younger generation, and then I can learn a lot from that. Well,
okay, I should try then.
You don't have to, but think about that. Maybe for other teachers, other subject like math or other social science subject teachers might be interested in doing that. Yeah. But again, thank you, Ibu, for the sharing
Yeah,
today.
you're welcome.
Yeah. If you have any question, everyone, then you can type in the chat later, or not chat, sorry, in the box provided by Samuel in the YouTube channel. Yeah. Thank you. Now moving to SMK. SMK is a unique school. It's vocational, very skills type of concentration there. We're going to have Pak Agus Sasongko. Pak Agus Sasongko is from SMKN, SMK Negeri 27 Jakarta. Yeah. Hi Pak, how are you Pak?
Hi Pak, very great Pak.
Okay, thank you. I want to know the SMK students, how they react when you introduce comic to them, Pak.
Yeah, actually, when the first time I introduced the digital comic to them, they feel a little bit surprised, yeah, because they say, "Apa ini Pak? What is it, sir?" Ya kan? I have to give some explanation first to them about what they are going to do, and then just experience it by yourself, yeah. And then after that, just give me some your comment, or maybe your opinion about the learning experience. And after that, they said they really like it because they met the new learning experience. For example, they said what they are talking about first is it has a bright color, yeah, and display icons are casual and it really fit their interests, yeah. And of course, it full of surprise, they said.
Okay.
So that's why, yeah, all right. How about the next week, sir? Is there any digital comic? Yeah, I'll think about it. I said to them.
Yeah, so it's addictive. So
yeah, it's addictive.
people can get addicted to that. So careful when you design a digital
Not only
comic.
for the children, I also already addicted to create them. That's why in my site I will share you some of my digital comic that I already implemented to my teaching method to them, to the students.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pak. May I know what subject do you teach?
Yeah, I teach hotel accommodation, especially for room division, front office, housekeeping, and also laundry. But for this semester, this year, I only teach for housekeeping.
So you're teaching housekeeping, and we heard the elementary school teacher teaching math, then SMP teacher Wina teaching English, and Ibu Susante teaching English, and now something else different. It's a very scale-oriented subject. Pak Sasongko.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we want to hear your story.
All right,
all
right. Thank you very much, Mr. Gumawang, Jati, and Bu Finida. Thank you very much, and also for Simolek and Simeo Siamolek. Thank you very much for this chance. All right, let me share the share screen for a minute. All right. Can you see my slide? Ibu dan Bapak?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. This is the presentation about that I'm going to tell you about my sharing experiences while try to implement the digital comic to my teaching method. Right. Okay. Hold a minute. Oh, the share screen is not from me, ya, Pak Gumawang. All right.
Just a second. Yeah, maybe from Shamo.
Yeah. All right. No problem. If you can help me to share the screen because I got a little bit problem with the connection here.
Yeah, it's from the committee. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for having me. All right, as you can see for the first slide, it is the digital comic spot that already been explained from Pak Gumawang. No problem, sir. You can move to another slide for the happy faces of the digital comic squad. Yeah, after get enlightenment to create new challenging learning media and material after 6 weeks study from 25 of June until 8th of August. All right, maybe next slide, sir. Thank you very much. All right, my name is Agus Sasongko. I am a hotel accommodation teacher teaching in 27 vocational high school, especially in hotel accommodation. And I also have a YouTube channel. Maybe if you want to visit my YouTube channel, I have some many kinds of learning video, especially for housekeeping. And maybe from the audience that watching from YouTube, you can visit my YouTube channel and give some insight maybe for my next project of video. Thank you very much. Right, actually for the digital comic itself, first I want to say thank you to Pak Dona ya. Pak Dona, he is the one who offered me to join online course for digital comic because he said, Pak Agus, it would be suited for you because for developing LMS for CATC. Because today until now, I'm still developing the learning material to be updated into the CATC. Until now, still in progress. Thank you very much, Bapak Dona, for introducing this digital comic online course. All right. What I'm going to share first, I will show you the learning journey to understand the digital comic, and then after that, I will show you some of my comic, the created comic, then that already being used to teach to my students, and then after that, I will share some insights and also get share some perspective from my students. Right after this, I will show you the video that I already made about the learning journey of creating some creating digital comic. Please, sir. The previous one.
Agus, please unmute.
Right, thank you very much, sir, for playing the video because it is short visualization about what I've been through from learning the digital comic until produce a digital comic to be implemented in my teaching method. Yeah. As you can see from your screen, yeah, these are the digital comic that little bit the some of my digital comic that already been used to teach to my students, and I have another digital comic that's still on progress to create. But now I just want to show you one by one from your screen. Yeah, the first one, it is from housekeeping introduction, and beside that is the established laws and form facilities is one of the unit competency from the housekeeping, and below the housekeeping introduction it is the room section. Yeah, all the material is based on the housekeeping unit competency, unit material. Yeah, that already been translated into the digital comic. And one is the display that I already put in the Google Classroom, embedded into the Google Classroom to be delivered to the students. In this section, the student been introduced about the digital comic. All right, next, sir. Yeah, previous one. Yeah. Nah, this is how to prepare the digital comic to be brought to students. I will share you what I'm already done for making the digital comic. First, what you have to do is decide your topic or theme. As the previous speaker before said, the first one you have to decide the topic, the main topic that you are going to deliver to the students. Because I'm teaching the vocational school, in the vocational school, especially in the hard skill, housekeeping hard skill. So I have to determine the essential material. Yeah, from the topic, I have to try to analyze again into the essential material that will be fitted in to be brought to the digital comic. And then after that, making a storyboard based on the essential material that I already analyzed, and then try to compiling it a translation template from the storyboard. Jadi from the scratch, from the scratch I try to translate it into the digital one, into the comic panel that I already developed in Google Slide. Yeah, we using Google Slide to create this digital comic. And then to bring element of surprise, we use apply of a variety of third-party learning application. As you can see, there are three-sided learning apps and Vokaru, that already been explained for Pak Gumawang and also from the previous speaker before. You can put another kind of application, for example, Answer Garden, Padlet, Quizzes maybe, Kahoot, and many kind of learning application as the element of surprise. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Then, the benefits that I felt. Yeah. First, I'm going to say about the teacher insight. Yeah. Yeah. First, it make it easy to bring material from one linkage platform to another. So it means we only prepare one unique display, one unique comic panel, and we can put all of the learning application into the comic display. And then, of course, I also put a little bit short story inside the comic panel. So not only they will find an obstacle, a learning as an obstacle, as the I put some story in the comic panel. So for example, I put myself as an avatar that maybe he trying to go somewhere, or maybe he tried to get his goals, but he has to follow the obstacle first. The obstacles is the learning object materials. Okay, increase teacher creativity. Yeah, of course, it will increase our creativity to develop one digital comic to another digital comic, and maybe and try to make it not boring to our student. Of course, it will push our creativity to be expanding. Yeah, and then learning can be more effective and focused and unique and suitable for meaningful learning. That is the point. We have to bring our teaching method to be for the student to get the meaningful learning. So this digital comic can be one of the method, yeah, that we can use to deliver our meaningful learning to them. All right, we're going to see the students' opinion. Yeah, the student perspective. I already asking some of the students. I only take 3 of them. Yeah, this is Melissa from 12th grade. Yeah, he said meningkatkan kemauan siswa dalam belajar. Ya, materi dijabarkan dan dihubungkan lewat gambar dan visual. Ya, the material is delivered in a picture and a nice visual. That maybe they feel boring from what we already done to them for past after almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years using a monotone. Yeah, they say monotone teaching method. That's why when I try to introduce the digital comic to them, they say this nice combination between visual and also the picture and also the colors, right? And then for another student said, it's not monotone. Sir, you can move to another slide. Yeah. Okay. It has a lot of interface and more interesting, and it really make the student feel interact and interested to finish the assignment. Yeah, and the last one said, sir. Yeah, this is a new learning experience to finish the assignment. Yeah, the theme is very interesting with many kinds of picture, many kinds of brightness colors, and that there is not tedious to them, and making a learning session more. They said making learning session is fresher than before. Yeah. All right, I think that's all about the sharing session that I can give to you. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I ended this. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam. Selamat sore. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Agus. Very interesting sharing today, and we can say that comics, there is a possibility that you might get addicted, and also the addictive for the students in a positive way. So yes. try that. Agus also mentioned that meaningful learning through comics in response to the students, and students' opinion is very positive. And also, Pak Agus mentioned a lot about visual. It was something also about visual. So visual is really helpful in learning, not just listen and read, because reading is need a lot of brain work. Visual will help a lot, will become a bridge to a deeper thinking and deeper learning. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. That's been great. I can see from your stories that there are a lot of good interaction. Students interact with the material, students interact with the comics and with the voice, your voice, and interact with you. And also you accompany them while they are learning. That's very crucial one, I think. And some mention about student and students interaction and that. Thank you. And it's work in low bandwidth. That's the most important point on that. Before we end the session, there are some questions, I think. The committee, can you put the questions so that we can answer those questions? I think the committee put it in a Slido, yeah. Okay, that's for me, but there is another before that, I think, for Michelle. Oh, is it? Okay, this. Okay, you can put the previous one, then I'll answer it, and then we go to Michelle. Oh, Michelle, do you want to answer this question, Michelle? That's for you.
Okay.
Digital comic is suitable for elementary students after trying it.
Yeah, let me
In your
answer
class,
the
is there any
question.
significant difference in the grade? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let me answer the question. In this first digital comic, I only give it evaluation using Google Form, only post test. But if we know, are there a significant difference in their grades before and after? Thank you for this question. From this question, I get new insight. Next digital comic, I will give pre-test and post-test.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So, because this is the first time, Pak Sukrigani, Michelle hasn't done the pre and post test to measure that. Yeah, thank you. Can we move to the next question, please? Can we move to the next questions? Yeah, this is from Rudy. Pak Rudy, this is for Winda. Winda, can you see the question on the screen?
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay,
I can see. Okay, thank you, Rudy. The question is, you said that you use Pixton app to create your No, I don't create my Digicom in Pixton. That's for my conventional comic. But for Digicom, I use Google Slide. Is it the only one app? No, of course. There are many applications that you can use to create and design a comic. You can use Pixton, but it only offers you to a combination of text and pictures, not like in Google Slide or Canva. You can use Google Slide, you can use Canva, you can use Pixton, and many applications. If you search on Google or Play Store, there are many applications to create a comic. And why do you choose Pixton? There is no one particular reason to use Pixton at that time, just because I joined Global Educator Resource Bank, and they were teaching us to create a comic by using Pixton application. That's why we use Pixton. If at that time they ask us to design comic by using another application, I think Pixton won't be on my choice. So yeah, because we are asked to do that. So thank you, Rudy, for your question. I hope I can answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Winda. So yeah, Google Slide might be good for the interactive, and also Canva. A lot of people are familiar with Canva on that. I will tell you why later, after we finish all of the questions. Next questions, please. Yeah. This is for Ibu Susan.
Okay, thank you Bu Dewi Sumanti ya from SMPN 3 Murung 1 Atap. Okay, your question is how to implement digital comic on reading comprehension. Yeah, just what I know that reading comprehension needs more techniques, yeah, because it is about reading, yeah. So so far I only use Google Docs to be put into my comics, yeah. So students will go to another link in Google Docs, and then they they will use the Google Docs for the reading activity. So I also use some topics, yeah, the same with the previous one, some topics in Google Docs. I think that can be answer. That can answer my your question, Bu Dewi.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Susan. Yeah, to implement digital comic on reading comprehension, maybe it's quite challenging because reading is reading. Then you have to read the text. Then you have to combine. Maybe you put the text in the middle. You give the introduction in a comic format. Then you will have a brainstorming activities in a comic format. Then you have another reading text. Then you have a reading exercise. Then you have a reflection. I think you can do that as well. Yeah, but not reading for reading itself. But there are steps that we have to follow so that become a meaningful reading exercise. Yeah. Because in the class usually when I was a student, I receive a text and then the teacher will say, read the text. If you have any questions, raise your hand and then answer that. With comics, that's another challenge. You have to have an opening brainstorming activity. Then you have to how to teach the vocabulary first before they read, and activities after they read, and activities while they're reading. Maybe that will add the confusion, but that's a challenge as well. Yeah. Thank you, Ibu Dewi, for the questions. Yeah. Next question, please. This is for Pak Agus.
All right. The question is from Ibu Windy. Ibu Windy, thank you for asking a question. Can we add our own video in digital comic, or we should upload it first on YouTube? Yes, actually, that I already shared to you before. Yeah, it is not uploaded first into YouTube. Yeah, I actually for making the presentation, you can directly you can directly put the video directly to the digital comic, yeah, for using the Google Slide. You can download upload it first into the Google Drive. That should be no problem also. Yeah. So the answer is you don't have to put everything the video from the YouTube, or if you want to take directly from the YouTube, you can put the link from the YouTube itself. Yeah. But it is not on. But you can also put directly from the Google Drive, or maybe you can put some small size of the video. That should be no problem. I think that is the answer.
Okay.
I hope it can answer the question, Bu Windy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Agus. So, Bu Windy, that's good. You can upload it in YouTube, or you can upload it in Google Drive. But again, you have to consider the bandwidth. If you put it in Google Drive, it might be a little bit difficult for the student to access that. If you put it in YouTube, then maybe that's lighter. So consider the low bandwidth access. I was surprised with Ibu Susanti. Ibu Susanti is from SMAN 1 Bandung. But the LMS is using WhatsApp just to make sure that everyone get the access. That's really important. You have a very good learning management system. You have very flashy platform, but the student will not learn that much. Then learning will not happen. Yeah. So again, utilize things that's around us, and we can make the most of that for learning purposes. Yeah. Next questions. Is there any? That's it from Rani. Yeah. Start from Pak Agus maybe. Pak Agus, this is for all speakers.
All right. The most challenging is first we have that I feel challenged is to decided the essential material itself, because we don't know how we deliver the material to the student. Is it effective or not? So the first thing that I have to consider is make sure the material is really fitted to be translated into the digital comics. Yeah, that's the answer.
Okay, thank you. Then we move to Ibu Susan.
Okay, thank you. For Bu Rani, ya. What is the most challenging part of teaching using digital comics? Yeah, just what I said before. The most challenging part, I think it is the same with Pak Agus Sasongko, ya, in finding and selecting the online materials which can be put into our comics and which is suitable and fit with our topics, because the topic in digital comics should be interesting, ya. So to make it more meaningful, engaging and interesting. So I think the most challenging part is finding and selecting the online materials. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Susanti. Then we move to Kalimantan. Winda.
Yes, thank you, Burani, for the question. It is addressed to all speakers here. And what is the most challenging part of teaching using digital comics for me, myself, is the creativity itself. Because I could spend hours in front of a tablet or my laptop to think of what I'm going to embed, what I'm going to put in my digital comic. So it is quite challenging. It challenges myself to much higher. My creativity would be, and you know, the sky is the limit. So creativity is the most challenging. Thank you.
Thank you, Ida. Then we move to Michelle.
The most challenging part of teaching using digital comics, I need to think of the topic and the objective of my lesson for mathematics, and then create a list of activities very detailed.
Okay, thank you very much. So there are challenges, of course, but you are all happy and creative with creating your first or maybe second comics with your students, and you're a little bit get addicted in creating that. I think it's a lot easier compared to preparing a lesson plan, the traditional lesson plan that you have to put a lot of columns. Maybe that's challenging, but comic gave a different challenge on that. Yeah. Okay, I think there is one question for me, if I'm not mistaken, the committee, or is there still? Yeah, this is from Pak Sanyoto, SD Taman Siswa. How do you manage evaluation of student participation in your comic individually? Because unlike LMS, digital comic doesn't provide feature to do that. Okay, Pak Sanyoto, Vinita and I, when run this course, actually is through Moodle type. We use the platform from Simolec to run how to create digital comics. Yeah. So the course that we designed for 5 weeks is using LMS platform. Yeah. But the comic itself, just the comic standalone, of course, that will not have features in the LMS. So the student participation when we run this course for Michelle, for Ibu Susanti, for Wida, and also for others that presented yesterday, we use learning management system and we evaluate the work throughout the course. Not just us, meaning Vinita and I, but also they give feedback, they give support. So the evaluation is not only from us, the instructors, but also from other participants. Yeah, that's the way we try to give evaluation during the program. Hopefully that's answer your question, Pak Samyato. Okay, is there any other questions? Okay. This is for Michelle.
Okay, what kind of apps you use for make your digital comic for learning? Thank you for these questions. I use technology tools for my digital comics, Google Slide, for template digital comic, and then Fokaru for recording my voice, Answer Garden for brainstorming activities, and don't forget to use Bitmoji for attractive pictures. And then the last is learning apps. Is very useful because there are many templates we can use.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle, for the answer. Yeah, Ibu Nur Fadila, the apps actually it's started from brainstorming activities, introducing the topics, and then watching, and then at the end with evaluation or reflection. Yeah, so there are some apps that we use during the course. Okay, is there any other questions? Oh, this is for me. Is there any suggestion for applying such digital comic at the school in the remote areas that far from a good signal? Yes, Winda, it's an example of this situation. Yeah, so is there any suggestion for applying this? The suggestion is if there is no signal, use one device for the class, for everyone. Yeah. Second one, do not put a lot of video. Yeah, so it's just voice and text and maybe picture. Yeah, use less videos on that so that become friendly. The comics can be played in a mobile phone. Yeah, so doesn't need that high bandwidth. So if you are interested in that, then you can try to get my slide, and then you can get the tutorial from Vinita step by step how to create that, and you try it. It's just it's a Google slide base. Then you create a template, and then you create a lot of links. And then basically that one, yeah. Hopefully I answer your question. The suggestion is less videos and maybe less pictures. Yeah, voice and text and some pictures that will help. Thank you. Other questions? Is there any other questions? Yeah. All speakers from Pak Timbul. Which one more meaningful, the comic utilization for student or the teacher related to learning objective and flexible learning? Okay, who wants to answer this first? Democracy. Now, who wants to answer this?
I think I can try to answer first,
Okay.
if I may.
Yeah,
which one
please.
more? Okay, which one more meaningful? I think both are meaningful for student and teacher to relate to learning objective and flexible learning. For the teacher, it is so meaningful, and for the students, it will be even more meaningful. So I think that's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Vida.
Yeah, I agree with Miss Winda. Yeah,
Okay.
we as a teacher have to provide the meaningful learning to the students based on the learning method. Especially, we have to give. We will give the meaningful learning if we really happy to provide it to the students. Yeah, this is the way the digital comic is great accommodation to us to deliver the learning material, and also the student can enjoy their learning session by using this digital, by using the learning material through the digital comics. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Agus. Michelle or Ibu Susan?
Maybe, yeah. Which one more meaningful, the comics utilization for student or teacher relate to learning objective and flexible learning? I think the question goes to the feeling of happiness of in both sides. Yeah, the feeling of happiness of the teacher itself, the feeling of happiness of the students, because meaningful means meaningful for both of them. Yeah, the teacher will be more creative in setting up the learning objective and to provide students with flexible learning, and the students will also get more meaningful and engaging activities from the lesson. So I think it is about the happiness. So none of them are more meaningful, but both are meaningful. I think that is the answer.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Susan. And last not least, Michelle.
Which one more meaningful, the comics utilization for student or teacher relate to learning objective and flexible learning? I think both of them, student and teachers, from teacher, I am a teacher, can add my experience to more be creative, to design online learning. And then for student, they get meaningful learning.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Yeah, is there still other questions? Oh, this is the last one. Okay, I think this is the last one, yeah? Oh no, this is the last one. From Pak Bambang to all speakers again. How do you integrate digital comics into gamification? Is it possible? Because as we can see, the design of comic very playful. What do you think about that? Anyone want to answer it first?
Maybe I can answer first, Pak
Sure.
Jati. Okay. How do you integrate the digital comic into gamification? I think the use of learning apps, yeah, it is one of the gamification, because there are many templates that we can use with our lesson. And then if it is about possibility, because is it possible? Yes, it is. Yeah, because the one of the platform that we use is learning apps. I think that's the answer, Pak.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Pak Agus, second.
Yeah. I want to tell you again about what I already done. Yeah, I said it before that the template of the comic itself, it also has to be has a story inside it. It has to be a story inside it. So you can make it like an obstacle inside it. Yeah. Maybe for the first challenge, they have to finish the task. So maybe you can use the learning apps with one kind of templates, and for another step of another obstacle using another templates of in the learning apps, or maybe until the last one you can make some interactive quiz like a quizzes. It can be using as a gamification. Yeah, level by level. Yeah, from the easier until the hardest. Yeah, you can make it as a comic become very playful to do. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Pak Agus Sasangko. That's a very good point to raise. Yeah. Any idea you want to respond?
Yes, thank you. Thank you to Mr. Bambang from SMPN 16 Bandar Lampung. It depends on how do you want to gamify your class actually, and is it relevant with your learning objectives? What do you want to do in your class? You want to gamify your class, and what kind of apps that do you want to use? Like Pak Agus said, he can apply quizzes. Like in my teaching context, I'm using Kahoot. They play, in that case, they play with the quiz. They play Kahoot, and then they can learn from learning apps, just like Bu Susanti said. And it depends. What do you want to do in your class? You want to gamify your class, and is it relevant with your learning objectives? Well, if I can interact with Pak Bambang, do you have like an idea of how do you want to gamify your class? And if you want to gamify your class, what kind of apps that you want to choose? And it is possible if you want to use digital comic, of course, it is very, very possible, and it is so applicable because I mentioned earlier that it is unlimited. So you can put the links, you name it, you just name it. All the links you can embed into your digital comic. So it is really possible to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Winda. Yeah, Michelle?
I try answer it. Based on my experience, I can embed the link of Google Sheet, Google Form that I created different from the common. And then you can use the link of Quizzes or Kahoot and the other apps.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I think this is the last questions that we have. Thank you very much, the committee who put the questions in the on screen. Yeah, to little bit summary of what we have done. We have listened to Michelle, we have listened to Winda, Bu Susan, and also Agus about comics. Comic that we design actually is a comics, not just a comic. It's a comic with a video, a comics with sound. Usually comic is just with text, right? With pictures and with text. And it's for learning. Yeah. So it's complex, yet simple. There is a lot of space that you can, or the teachers can experience to give the joyful to the journey of learning of the students. At low bandwidth, it's not high bandwidth, can be played in a very low bandwidth area. So it's useful for us who live in Indonesia. Another one, we all know that after the COVID, we will not come back to the old fashion of the same school. We're going to move to a different school. Teachers' creativity with the digital will be challenged. Right now, maybe we haven't really feel it, but soon it will be challenged by the system. It will be challenged by our students. Our student will not be the same student like 2 years ago. It's going to be a student who play with a lot of screen and read a lot of text and play around with the screen more than ever. That's all around the world. So we're going to be challenged by that. So it's going to be a different type of student. The same high school student, but after COVID and before COVID, there are different type of students. Yeah. Another one, comic is very useful for face-to-face as well. Yeah, so we can bring the comics into the classroom in a face-to-face setting later on. We can try it, we can explore it. That's a good start to combine a digital, in this case comic, but later on you're going to be challenged with other digital type, yeah, or digital and playing around with education. Because usually technology is designed not for education, it's designed for entertainment, it's designed for business, yeah, and then it's not specifically designed for education. It's very rare. We as a teacher going to be challenged how to utilize the technology become meaningful for our students. That's all that we can wrap up for today. Thank you very much for the participation in this international webinar. Also, thank you very much for everyone in the YouTube channel. I know there are some people from the Philippines, some people from Lampung, Jakarta, and also from Bandung and from other areas, even from Kalimantan. Maybe it's Winda's friend from there. Thank you very much. I give it back the floor to Mas Dona. Mas Dona, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Jati and other speakers. It was a great sharing for today's webinar. And ladies and gentlemen, and now we have come to the end of our session. Our high appreciation goes to all speakers who have presented today and enlightened all participants with their experiences on digital comic course. Hopefully, we hope we will inspire all of educators who join this webinar and implement in their institution. And before we part way, I'd like to encourage you to share today's webinar with your social network. You can take a screenshot of this webinar session and share it or post them directly on your Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook accounts. Don't forget to tag Siamolek social media accounts too. And here you can see Siamolek social media account on your screen. Okay. And let me show one more slide of information regarding the evaluation form and certificate. You can go to the link of our questionnaire to get the certificate, bit.ly/survey digital comic. And then how to get the materials, you can go to the e-training account or s.id/webinar comic, check the news and update tab, and the materials will be updated on the tab. Okay, great. And how to claim your certificate? You need to register prior to the event following the two-day webinar session, and for the deadline, participants are required to fill the evaluation form on bit.ly/survey digital comic, and it should be filled no longer than November 22, 2021. And the e-certificate will be available on the participants' e-training accounts on November 29, 2021. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Thank
you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Pak
you,
Gumawang Jati,
everyone.
Bu Vinita, Pak Dona, terima kasih.
Terima
Yeah,
kasih.
good afternoon,
Thank you,
everyone.
thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Can we leave?
Yeah, we can leave, I think. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Here, can leave. Bye, everyone.
Bye.